I would say around 5th grade into middle school. You start to realize that there's a complexity. That's what mom started saying to me, don't let them see you cry. You know, you gotta be smarter than the next one. You have to work twice as hard. What she said was that we deserve fair treatment. We deserve to be treated equally. We deserve the same thing as anybody else. And that was kind of my foundation. That was my platform. I never was like super radical about, this and that. It was just always like, we deserve the same thing anyone else has. So what's the problem? It's hard not to put yourself in that place. It's hard not to see your brother, your sister, your children. It's hard. And as a parent, when she told me that he called his mom, he didn't just call his mom, he summoned all mothers. And again, that's why everybody poured out into the street. Because believe it or not, if my child was calling me amongst a million people, I would hear my kid. If my kid is and we're always amongst groups, I would hear my kid. So to hear him call his mother like that, it was like, for real? Seriously? And you still don't move? To hear him comply and say, sir, we teach our kids sir all the time. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, because we think it's gonna save their life. And it doesn't, and it didn't. You know what I'm saying? When your kids ask you, is it gonna happen again, and you have no response, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair to even think that it could be your child. That's crushing as a parent. We are the billboard at this point. Whatever we say, whatever we do, that is law. So it's crazy because we really want to go out in the street, we want to protest, and we want to be angry, but we're also the poster child for the reaction. Does that make sense? Like whatever you do, that's the stamp of, us progressing forward as a people. But for people to have to pour out into the streets is because it happens over and over and over and over. All of these tragedies are connected, and this is why people fall into the streets. Because at this point, it's like bubbling over effect. It's way too heavy at this point. The foundation of what was built in America was based upon racism. And unfortunately, it bred and people started to feed their children. It's the same thing. If I feed my children negativity, that is what they're going to, expose to whoever is around them. It's just an energy. But I feel like there was a deep embedded, unfortunate racist issue out of fear, out of greed, out of need, and out of fear. It's an honor and a privilege to teach people that look like me. It's an honor and a privilege to teach people that look like me. I teach them how to read. Our people we couldn't read before. Like when I read them stories about them hiding underground to learn how to read by candlelight, and then I can just open up a door and walk in and we can read with no problem. Yeah, that's amazing to give back in that way. Because I know that they're going to take that education and they're going to put it back into the community. They're going to pour it back into our judicial system. They're going to pour it back into probably opening a black bank or some type of institution to continue to further rise our community and bring awareness to the fact that we want the same thing everybody else wants. How did we get in this situation? We didn't just voluntarily walk ourselves into this situation. White people were a part of that. So white people are gonna have to bring us out of it. It's gotta be a mindset, because just like I have to talk to my people, they have to talk to their people, and they have to encourage their people that, look, we were raised like this, but we don't gotta live like this, because if we can get to kids, we can change. We can change it, because then they'll raise their children with a different notion, So I spent many, many, many years learning about traditional West African dance and African American history. And when one person falls, we all collectively come together and pick that person up. It's the same thing with dance. When one person's energy is low, we corral around that person, we get their energy back. It's this unspoken resilience, this unspoken language of community and just determination.